it's Lei from Covalent. Today I'm going to talk to you about our new endpoints, which make it really easy to graph NFT floor prices, sales, and volume across chains. So let's get into it. So first, let's check out the API reference and see exactly what I'm talking about. There will be a blog post where you can follow along and get more details on each of these endpoints, but I'm going to lead you through the API reference, and then we're going to actually check out some graphs that can be made with the data I'm showing you. So you get here from the main website, from the docs, or you can just type covalenthq.com/docs/API. And what we're going to do is go to the NFT section under Class A, open that up, and then click on Market Data. Here we have 3 new endpoints which we've just released, which I'm going to be telling you about today. So let's click on the first one. This is Get Historical Floor Prices for a Collection. Basically what this endpoint's going to do is give you the lowest price that an NFT was sold each day for a default of 30 days when you put in an NFT collection. This is super useful for consumers who want to see what the entry point is to get into a certain NFT collection. Like if they want to hold a Bored Ape, for example, they can monitor the floor prices over a month and see what the average low prices are for that collection. So let's check out the actual API response. What you want to do is select a chain, which you can do on the right sidebar here. There's more details of the supported chains in the blog post as well. Then you want to put in the contract address of the NFT collection you're interested in. I often like to try out endpoints using a popular NFT collection like Bored Apes or CryptoPunks or something like that, and you can find contract addresses on Etherscan. Then you can optionally adjust the number of days. It will default to 30 days, and you can also adjust the quote currency. So we give you both the fiat currency that you configure here, and we also give you the native quote currency, which means that I would see, if I set this as USD, which is the default, I would see the price in USD equivalent, or I would see the price in Ether as well on Ethereum or whatever the native token is on that chain. So I've pulled up the response here in a separate window. Now let's just take a look and examine this. So here's my API call looking at historical floor prices for the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection. I didn't put in anything else for the different parameters, so this is just the default. So the quote currency is in USD, and this gives me 30 days. As you can see, in each of these items, I have the native token name, which is ETH. I have the floor price native quote, which means 23.4 ETH. And I also have the pretty floor price quote, which is what it sold for in USD. And if I look, there's a lot of sales that are taking place around $37,000, which I know is holy moly, but this is one of the more expensive NFT collections. And I can see that this is also kind of picking up mid-month. There's some $42,000 sales. And later we're going to graph this, but this is just to give you an idea of what the response looks like. As you can see, it's pretty flat, as are all of these endpoints, so it's really easy to graph. So let's go back to the API reference and check out the next endpoint. Let's click on historical volume for a collection. Okay, so the volume endpoint is going to give you comprehensive trading insight into an NFT collection. You can see the total value in a fiat currency or in the native currency of all the transactions that have taken place for an NFT collection. And again, this defaults to 30 days, but that's configurable here. And it's the same thing, you just select the chain and put in the contract address that you're looking at. So I'm doing all my examples with the Bored Ape Yacht Club just because it's easy and most people know what that is. So let's open this up in a different window. Okay, so opening up the API response for this volume endpoint, you're going to see it looks pretty similar to the last one. Again, a flat response, and each item is going to also show you quotes in the native currency and in the currency that we configured, or the default, which is USD. So in this case, the fields are all about volume, and we're looking at the volume native quote and the pretty volume quote. So the volume native quote is going to be in Ether, which is the native token, and the pretty quote, again, is in USD. And as you can see, we're looking at this. Actually, this changes quite substantially compared to the floor price response that we just saw. So you can see we go from like 470 ETH one day to over 1,000 the next day. So the jump from like $750,000 to $2 million, and then $3 million. So this is pretty useful for users to get an idea of how active the NFT collection is, how many transactions are taking place, and our next endpoint is even better for that, which is sales count. Now let's head to the sales count endpoint, and this one's pretty simple. It's literally just going to give you a count of the sales of NFTs of that collection. Again, defaults to 30 days. Just put in a contract address and you can configure that. And when we open up the response, literally the only field you're interested in is sales count. So as you can see, we have 21 sales, 54 sales, 98 sales, and so on. So if you're literally just looking to see how many trades happened in a day, then this is the endpoint for you. Now let's take a look at what these endpoints can actually render. Okay, so what I've done here is actually just put this all into an Excel sheet, which is really easy to do with our API. You can basically just add and format equals CSV to the end of each API call and import it into Excel or Google Sheets, I should say, like this. So use the import data function, put your API call in quotation marks, and as you can see, I just added and format equals CSV. So we used to have this called analyst mode. We got rid of analyst mode, but this feature still exists. It's just not as obvious. And as you can see, I've just put all of the API calls that we opened up before into this sheet, and I've labeled each of them under floor price, volume, sales count, and then I'm actually going to show you the charts that I made in just a couple minutes, which were really easy to do. Obviously, you could set this up in JavaScript in your actual application, and I'll show you what that kind of looks like too. Okay, so I really haven't done much to edit this at all besides just import the data. The one thing I did was click on the pretty floor price column and then just change that to format as currency, and that's just going to help in the charts that I'm going to show you. But as you can see, it's already pretty easy to just get a picture of the response this way rather than looking at JSON. And I've done the same thing for volume and for load and for sales count. So let's just click on the charts tab and I'll show you what I did. Basically here in Excel or in Google Sheets, I've just easily created a couple little charts directly from these endpoints. So here we can see the floor price graph, and you can see it pretty much hovers around $40,000, a little bit below and a little bit above that. Here I can see the trading volume. This is by day, so it's going to be pretty erratic. I mean, if you were actually going to do analytics, this would be pretty cool to check over longer periods of time, like perhaps months, and you can also do some sort of analysis to see if other events have caused a spike in the trading volume. And here you can also see the sales count, which obviously is directly correlated to the trading volume, but it's just easy to pick out this way. For instance, if I wanted to see a day that has over 100 sales, then I could easily use this endpoint to get that information. So this is just a simple little demo in Google Sheets, probably not what you're going to build into your application, but you never know. But let's look at a UI that's more likely to be what you'd see in Web3 applications. So this is a simple configurable floor price chart that shows USD or ETH, shows you per day. I currently have it set as 7 days, so it's pretty darn flat. But if I change it to 30 days, we see the response I just saw. 90 days will take a little bit of time to load, and that's a little bit of a more interesting window because you can actually see some sort of trends in the price overall. If I wanted to click ETH, I would see it like this, so 32 ETH roughly, or, oh yeah, this is different because I'm looking at 90 days, but or like $60,000. So let's check out what a sales count could look like. Again, you could do a pretty simple bar chart here. This is 7 days, this is 30 days, this is 90 days. And here it's pretty easy to examine the high points of the sales for each collection. And then let's just check out how volume could look as well. So here we have a 7-day volume, and I could again show this in either US dollars or ETH or whatever currency you configured. Here's 30 days, 90 days, and as you can see, if I switch it to ETH, then we're looking at 1,000 to 3,000 ETH pretty much. So where do you currently see analytics like this? Let's open up OpenSea because they're pretty much the ones that have the most graphics. So if I just I'll actually click on Bored Apes, which is perfect because that's what we've been looking at, and go to the Analytics tab. So here you can see exactly this type of graph in the wild, and they also have it configurable by different time ranges. The thing is here that with OpenSea, their data is only particular to this marketplace. So that's great if you're OpenSea. But if you are an individual developer or a third party, or you're building a tool to look at NFT analytics across different marketplaces and across different chains, like Bored Apes are on a number of different chains and marketplaces. So if you'd like to get an aggregate of the NFT data across those markets and chains, then Covalent's the best endpoint to do that because we have the data, we have a structured schema, and we can make those aggregates across different markets and chains. So basically, with our endpoints that we just showed you, you could easily build this analytics, but you can do it across markets and across chains. So I could show Bored Apes on however many chains and markets it's supported on, and I could get a more holistic view of the actual trading data. And this also might tell me that there's a lower floor price than there is relative to OpenSea on Ethereum. Maybe it's trading at different prices on other chains. There's also a number of NFT marketplaces that don't actually show those graphs. They just have other forms of analytics, but graphs are a really easy way for consumers to understand price trends. So it's easy to integrate that with our endpoints, and it's something that these other marketplaces or whatever ones you're building could add in. So for instance, if I explore all collections here, this is pretty standard. You'll see floor price listed and volume listed. Again, you can get that data from these endpoints. But if I wanted to like click into an individual collection, I don't really see an option to have any sort of like chart of what I'm looking for. I just kind of have this feed of activity, and I can filter it, but it's still not super easy for me to like see what's going on here. So yeah, it'd be really great for a lot more NFT marketplaces or other apps to add in these graphic features, and that's super easy to do with the NFT market data endpoints. So again, if you want to get started, just head to the API reference. All you need is a free API key, which you can sign up for anywhere on our website, and you can start testing out these API calls and seeing it for yourself. If you want to check out more data, you can go to our blog post on the website, which is going to explain all of these endpoints in a bit more depth and give you some sample responses, and also show you where you can find both of our SDKs, our TypeScript and Python SDKs, if you prefer to work with the API that way. So at the time of releasing the endpoints, we currently support this on over 130,000 NFT collections across 9 marketplaces, across 9 blockchains, and there'll be more to come, so stay tuned. Monitor our changelog or our social channels for more information. And that's it. I hope you enjoy the NFT market data endpoints and how easy they are to use. If you have any feedback or you just want to talk to us, hit up our Discord, and thanks. Stay tuned for more videos. Bye.